to Pearlo's House of NHL Takes Frolic with Triple and Larry. I'm not going to tell you. You guys can figure. You tell me what you think that nickname's for. I have a feeling you won't figure it out, but one day you might. But Larry is in again, and I'm just kind of bored. It's getting to that time of summer where I'm like, can't wait for hockey to start already again, even though I don't want winter to come. But I did have some really good conversations on Twitter a little bit, and one of those conversations I was having was, well, how Howard will work out in Edmonton, and I think it's going to be a tough go. I think it's going to be a tough go for him. But there's a few. One thing I know about Howard is that he really did improve his drive to the net last year in the AHL. His offensive game, there's not really all that much to worry about. It's his overall game in general, and being able to play with that top six, which puts him up against other teams' top lines, which I'm a little concerned about, and I think most scouts are as well. I think this is a tough spot for him. I think it would be much better if he wasn't in this situation where they got to win like right now for his development. But what do you think, Larry?
I think Howard is pooched if he is not playing in the top six. He's not playing in a bottom six role. He's like you've said many times, he's not very good defensively, so there's no point in being in a bottom six role. So it's either home on the second line or AHL for him again. Does he have to go through waivers? He probably does this year, I'm guessing.
Actually, you know what? I didn't even know that.
I bet you he does now because this is his third year pro, right? Or in AHL, NHL. I bet you he does. Let's see, Edmonton. Where's Howard? Where is he? I'm blind. I can't see him. Dickinson Frederick.
Where are you looking at? Puckpedia?
Yeah. Did they forget about him? Oh, no, he's a coward. Okay, he's in the non-roster. Nope. I guess he's still on his... He can still be sent down. How many NHL games? It's going to be not many. 29.
Yeah. He's only been...
He's under. Yeah.
Last year.
So he's under. He doesn't need waivers. So yeah, second line for him or AHL.
Well, I mean, I think there's a way that you can use him on the bottom line, but it's more to do with just matchups. Like you'd have to put him in the top line in certain as when you can, and then for extra minutes he plays in lower lines. Like you really got to mix it up. The guy who's really doing that, does that well, is Turney in Utah there and in Arizona. He really does that well. He mixes in his young players. He'll have them in the fourth line, but he'll mix them into the top lines in really good in situations where they're up, where the top line is up against a weak second or fourth liner in the offensive zone. They'll throw them out there and, let them get used to things that way. I think that's what they have to do with Howard. My question is just, will Babcock be willing to take the time with that? I don't know. Like I said, it's just the whole development thing right now. This is not a development situation for the Oilers. They need people that can play right now. That's the biggest issue.
What did... Yeah, he played 29 games. I'm assuming he didn't play any top comp when he did play. It's probably like less than 15%, I'm guessing, on JFresh.
For Howard, I don't
Yeah.
even know if he has him up there, to tell you
It's-
the honest truth. It might be not enough data for them to put him up there.
29 games, yeah.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, it does have it. Yeah, very low, 5% comp.
Yeah, I thought it'd be below 15, so
Yeah, it's very low. Didn't fare well, but I mean, how many minutes was he playing in a game? You got to get his minutes up. Like, it's really hard to get data on a guy that's only playing like 3 shifts or 4 shifts a game, because you're not in any rhythm at all. You're just going out there. It's tough. Like, you got to play at least 10 to 12 minutes a game. You got to get at least,
yeah,
10 shifts in or something like that. Otherwise, there's no
it's
use.
just a waste in the NHL. He's just sitting on the bench most of the game. You'd rather
No.
play him in the AHL and see if he can get his confidence up, work on that defensive game, and get it up to par where he can play. And like, if he could just be okay defensively, he could play with Draisaitl and Hopkins, or Draisaitl and Polkozen, or what is he? How do you say it?
Yeah. I mean, it's there's more than just like, it's also how does he physically it's tough playing against those top. It's just a huge jump playing against the physicality with the physical game in the NHL and the players. You can't emulate that in college, or even the AHL in a lot of ways. The physical abuse and wearing you take in the NHL. It's you have to do it. It's the only way you can do it, and it usually takes developing to do that. It's just a tough spot for him for his development, I think. But if they if they think they're going to be fine, you could just roll them in as much as possible. But it's a tough balance, because you can also kill a kid doing that too. I can't sit here and say I know the magic to that, because I've never been down there. I've never been in the trenches in the NHL where you're watching a kid. Like, you see team fans all the time saying, how come they're not playing that kid more? It's probably because he's getting beat up. It's probably because it takes a while to play in the NHL, to have the mindset and physical endurance to be able to do it. So I don't know much. I don't know where he is there.
You might know more about this, because Oilers' farm team is Bakersfield, right? Or what is it?
Yeah, Bakersfield. Yeah.
Yeah. Do they play the same kind of style as Edmonton? Like, that's the hardest for teams. There's AHL teams that don't play the same style as their NHL club. It's like, what's the point of that? Like, you're developing these guys to play for your team. You should be playing the same way.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of AHL teams that don't do that. Like, it's like,
well, I mean, they might have got started with it, but they've had so many coaches. Like, how long was Knobloch there? 2.5 years. It's about league average. So he had a different style. Like, they were man on man for a little bit. Tippett had played the left wing lock. Like, how do you build an organization like that? Like, the organizations you're talking about to play the same, usually they got the same coach for a long time, right? Like Cooper, Maurice in Florida, he built that from the ground up as soon as he got there. Although it was kind of similar to what they were doing before. LA, they do, because they demand a 1-3-1 coach no matter who comes in. So even though they do change coaches, they demand that they play the same. Back from Sutter. Sutter was the one that built that. Yeah. So yeah, there is team organizations that do it, but
good example
I would say they get started maybe, and then now they're going into something different, and it's tough.
A perfect example of this is the Vegas Golden Knights. Like, Torts got him within almost a Stanley Cup, and nope, see it. We're hiring Ryan Craig. Sorry,
Right.
and he's our AHL guy. He knows the systems.
Yeah.
We play a certain way. You want to play a certain way, but we want to play this way. So you're
Right.
not going to do that. Goodbye.
And you bring up a good point. Like every coach they've ever had has played that layered collapse D zone style. DeBoer, Cassidy. The only guy that maybe didn't was Gallant. I can't remember what he was, but he didn't last long. They really stress that D zone style. That's why they're kind of old school in their way that they believe in defense first, like defensemen first. They build from defense out. They let Dorofeyev go and they kept Anderson, right? Like they want the strongest defenseman they can get, and they play a layered collapse for their goaltending, which helps. Obviously, like what was it when they won the cup? They used like three or four goaltenders that year, didn't they?
Yeah.
They used Hill and was that Brossois?
Hill, Brossois.
There's one
Thompson.
other one.
Wasn't Thompson injured?
Thompson. Yeah.
And then Leonard was injured, I think, going into the playoffs still at that time.
Yeah. So I mean, they play a very goaltender friendly system. And they stick to it, and they've stuck to it the whole time. So there's a good example. I imagine, use the same system in the AHL as the NHL. I don't think that is the case with the Oilers.
No. The best team in the NHL that does it is probably, I hate to say it, probably the Boston Bruins. They've played the same way since I can remember. It's just aggressive, physical, in-your-face style, and if you can't play that, you're not playing in the NHL.
Yeah, and they had Cassidy for a long time there, so
Claude Julien, he was very good.
Julien was a 1-3-1 guy, absolutely. Yeah. Good.
So that's where I think some teams it makes harder to develop players, because if you don't play the same way, like learn to play this way, and you go to the NHL and play a different way, well, of course you're behind the 8 ball right away.
Right. And I mean, maybe they did try to, do the same thing Knobloch was doing in the AHL, but I mean, that was only 3 years, and you're building. It's not ingrained in these players. Like it's not ingrained in the culture, the system. Like Carolina, they play man on man, same thing in the AHL. They've been building that system. It's from the ground up, and they're going to live and die with it. They may be altering it a little bit, but they live and die with that. The Islanders kind of swayed away from it with Law, but it looks like they're going back to it with DeBoer. So I imagine they're playing the same way. Philadelphia just changed everything with Tocchet, and that's building from the ground up. And I imagine that's going to stay that way for a long time. But yeah, you're right. I mean, especially when you're changing coaches all the time and you're changing the way you want to play all the time.
Yep.
It's tough. Your system is your identity. So whatever you decide to play, that's going to build the identity that you want.
If you're a hockey fan and you're like, why am I watching these other teams where these rookies come up and they just they come into the NHL and they just catch fire? Well, it's because they know what they're doing. They're not stepping on the ice and trying to make sure they're doing safe plays and not sure where they are. They know what the system is. They know what they're doing, and that's why they succeed. That's why Boston, they call it this nobody, and then, oh, look, he's got 5 goals in 6 games. What's going on? Well, because he knows what to do. He
doesn't feel like a fish out of water. Like he recognizes what's going on. He doesn't have to learn a whole new system when he comes up. Feels confident. It may not last over time, but I mean, at least you know what you're doing. And I'd be interesting to go through I think Anaheim switched it up several times. They've struggled that way.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Anaheim. I haven't paid enough attention. I knew kind of like Edmonton didn't seem like they play the same kind of style, because Edmonton's switching it up all the time, and then
that's tough on it. That's tough. Like I was talking to Zach the Max, he's on here all the time. And we were talking about that where you're not going to be able to develop in the AHL, and you bring up that point that I was like, you can, but I don't know if Edmonton can. If the Edmonton players can, based on the fact that you got a new coach coming in, and Howard's not really known for his defensive game or his awareness without the puck, and now you're like a whole new system all over again. I think the end game here for Howard is he's probably going to end up being traded.
Well, that's where I kind of said he's going to be on the second line or probably back in the AHL. There's no point of being in a bottom six role. I just don't see it, because if you want to change the identity of the team a little bit and have more important players play important minutes defensively and stuff like that, why you're not putting Howard in there? So I think we'll see what happens, but I think he gets a shot in preseason on this, probably with Draisaitl and whoever, and then see what happens. Like if there's chemistry, start the season like that. If you can't, if it's not cutting it, to the AHL you go, and probably traded, like you said.
Yeah, I don't think chemistry. It's a fancy word for can you handle it. They like to use that word so they don't have to tell a young guy, look, you're not ready yet. Well, chemistry is pretty easy to with McDavid, as long as you got the speed and everything like that. You just can't handle it.
When I think of chemistry, it's like, okay, Howard's like he's under 6 feet, I know, and he's a smaller guy. He's not like a huge player. So if you're playing with a guy like Draisaitl likes digging pucks out of that corner and setting up on the half wall lots. Like, so if you're playing with Draisaitl, where's your best bet on that line and to be successful? It's like if you're a guy that's going to hang out in front of the net, might help him out more. If you're a guy that's shying away from physical contact and don't want to go in that slot area, then what's the point of you on that line? Like, there's going to double team Draisaitl, get the puck out. You need another guy that can.
He likes to drive the net with the puck.
Draisaitl?
So. No,
I don't really see Draisaitl. Oh, Howard, yeah. Howard. So if you're
Howard
in the
likes
dirty
to
areas,
drive the net with the puck.
Yeah, Draisaitl needs a guy that's gonna give him more space. Like if you're a useless player on that line, then I just send two players on Draisaitl, shut him down, get the puck, get it out, and it's done. So you need a guy that's gonna complement him. And when's the last time Edmonton's really had that? Like Draisaitl has to do a lot in Edmonton. Like McDavid has Hyman at least, so like Hyman just sits there with his little stick on the side of the net on the power play, especially, and wait for everybody else to do the thing and taps it in. Not always, but I'm just saying that's his main job. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see about Howard. We'll see. I love Coach Chippy when he is mocking Hyman that one. I don't know if you saw those videos. Howard? Second year was entry level. He didn't sign right away, so he'd be 21 or 22.
He's 22 because he played 2 years in college before he was drafted. Or no, after he was drafted.
And he didn't sign.
It's got to be at least 22. 22 and a half right now. He's going to be 23.
23, so he played 3 years in college then.
Yeah, that's why when he won the Hobey Baker, there's a list of guys that won the Hobey Baker on their 3D. It's not very impressive.
No,
it's not very impressive.
Yeah, Ottawa had one of those guys. Bobby Butler is a name you don't hear about.
Yeah.
Jimmy VC.
Jimmy VC might be the best one of the bunch. So
Jimmy VC, yeah. Trying to think. Yeah.
There's a couple of guys from the older, but for the most part, the last 20 years or something like that, it hasn't been very impressive.
No.
Of a list. That usually means it was a weak year in college when a guy from, because you're already grown, right? Like you're grown into, so well, like it's, I don't know.
Yeah,
I have my doubts with Howard. That's all. I've always said that, and I hope I'm wrong. I think I'm more hoping I'm wrong than anything. But you brought up
well,
another thing before we got started. You were saying, who would you rather have in the game 7, McDavid or Draisaitl? And I'm like, sorry, dude, McDavid all day. Nothing against Draisaitl. Um, I mean, McDavid, I just, I think people put too much, especially in the playoffs, put too much on his offensive numbers. Like when McDavid is on the ice, players are killing themselves to keep
yeah,
up to him and to, like, he kills players. And then the rest of the team has a great opportunity. Like he tires the other team out. What he did in Florida in that last final was insane. Like it was crazy. The Edmonton Oilers should never have been able to get to game 7 in that game if it wasn't for him. What he did in that whole playoffs doesn't get enough credit for. And yeah, I like Dre. I understand you got that one shot. You know, he can get a shot away. I'm not like Draisaitl. I love Draisaitl. He's fantastic. I don't want to undermine him at all. I just think McDavid doesn't get enough credit for how good he really is and how unselfish he is.
yeah. I think he's the best player in the world, obviously, but you're talking about the playoffs, talk about the year before, the first time they went to the Stanley Cup final. He played on a busted ankle the whole playoffs, Draisaitl, and he led the playoffs in points. It was
Yeah.
like he's playing literally on one foot and like icing it after the games, and at one point on crutches. It was like, how is this guy playing? And like, I think he has determination that, and he scores big goals. Like that guy, like you give him one shot, that's all he needs. McDavid has crazy speed, but McDavid doesn't score 100 out of 100. Like, but passing wise, like McDavid is probably the best passer in the NHL. He creates openings that nobody else can do, not even Sidney Crosby. Crosby can see the game at a different level, maybe, but McDavid can just blow his jets in the zone, and his edge work is probably the best in the NHL, and he can make seams open up that nobody else could do. So I do give McDavid credit, but I think Draisaitl is the game breaker player that can score big goals. McDavid can get you points, but I think
I don't think Draisaitl gets to do what he does if it wasn't from if there's no McDavid on the team. His numbers would slip quite a bit. He gets a good, not quite a bit, but they would slip. I mean, if he had to take what McDavid takes game in, game out, I mean, that's the whole point of this, what's going on with Babcock and what is, I really don't think the coach is going to really help much here. It's the actual players on the roster. Getting McDavid some more time, not against top comp. You do that, he can bust 140, 150 this year. If he gets to play some second lines on the road and are at home, if he can start playing against lower competition, if you can have like Dickinson up there shutting down top lines with, and hopefully you could get Podkolzin down on the third line, if you can get a second liner and get a shutdown line there, 150 points I bet you McDavid could get this year.
What is his comp rating? What comp does McDavid get?
99.9 is insane.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he's on the ice like every second shift almost, it seems. So it's like you have to be playing some of the worst lines too.
A little bit, but everybody's wasting their best players against him as much as they possibly can. Like if McDavid gets on the ice and you're a fourth liner, you're off the ice as fast as you possibly can.
Yeah.
You're off. Yeah. So, like I said, if you could get a third line that can do that, can like Dickinson's a really great player for that. You don't have to score, just be able to roll with those top lines. You're going to get way more points out of McDavid and Draisaitl, actually, as well.
Yeah. Do you think there's a world they play McDavid and Draisaitl on the same line this year?
I don't know.
I
don't know if that's such a good idea.
I don't think it is, but you had Hyman, McDavid, Draisaitl as your top line, and then Hopkins centers your second line with Polkozen, and if Howard's good or something good enough for there. It's not a great second line, but I don't know. Because they do that sometimes. They do load them up like in the middle of the game. Like,
honestly, what I would do if they're going to do that, what I would do anyways, just let me. If they're going to do that, I would play. You're going to play Draisaitl with McDavid.
And Hyman, because you have to have Hyman there.
I mean, you're just totally loaded there. You need another line that's going to, again, be able to play against top competition then, because that line's just going to get every difficult.
That's true.
Line they can get every time, and then now that will drain the shit out of those top lines, and your second line will have some pretty tired people out there.
So more or less,
that's what's good about doing that is McDavid and that line can just drain the shit out of. That's why you see in the playoffs they'll say, look at how many points our second and third line got. Yeah, because McDavid drained the crap out of them, and that's the reason why you would do that. Is you put them out there to drain that line, and then the second line has an opportunity to play against some tired lines.
Like, is there any other two better forwards that play with each other that are on the ice that are more dominant? I don't think there is.
No.
I can't even.
No. Not it, and if they're both on the ice at the same time, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the best duo in the NHL. So, but they don't play together as much. But late in the game, if you're down a goal, they're going to be on the ice together.
Yeah, I wonder if
you could get a nice winger and put Polkozen and Hopkins, and then a good a good right winger. Right wingers are harder to find, but imagine that you could load up that line and get like DeBrusk could play both sides.
Yeah, DeBrusk would be all right. I love if you could get Podkolzin and Dickinson together on a line, and even Kapanen wouldn't be too bad that way. I like Raquel. Raquel is making $5 million. If you're an Oilers fan, just pray to God Pittsburgh blows this year and go out and get Raquel.
Yeah.
If you could put Raquel on it, Raquel would be like a game changer for this lineup. That would be awesome for them.
Or Rust.
But
Rust is getting up there, so he might not cost I guess Raquel is too. 33, and what's Rust? 34. Yeah, they're both the same. Never mind. That's what I hope Brian Rust is available, because I think he's the perfect guy that Ottawa could use.
I'd much rather get Raquel.
I'd rather get Raquel, maybe. I want a guy that can score goals. That's the thing. Raquel can score goals, but
Raquel could score goals. If he was playing with, I love Sidney Crosby. Okay, he's one of the greatest leaders of all time. But at this moment in his career, he's nowhere near as good as Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl. Those that are trying to put those, not at this stage of his career. One time, okay, you can make a case, but
one game,
right now,
yes,
no.
you can.
I had to.
No, I'm gonna say if there's a one game playoff. Rico, nope. Nope to what?
Rico, no. He's not as good as Draisaitl or. No. You put Raquel with McDavid, he's 40 goal scorer.
Probably, yeah. Kind of like Hyman. Or even Brian Rust.
Yeah, I mean, or even with Draisaitl.
Yeah.
Look, if Podkolzin can get, what did he get? Like 30 some even strength points last year or something like that? 37 even strength points. You put Raquel with Draisaitl? Whew. That would be insane, dude. And he's good all over the ice, too. I love him. That would be the guy I'd want. Especially at $5 million. Be awesome.
Yeah, like I think either one could be good, but I just like Brian Rust because I think he can pot the puck in the net more. I think playing with a McDavid, like you put Rust up there on the right side, McDavid and Hyman on the left side. That's two guys that can shoot. And then that bumps down what's his name? I think or was it Frederick that played with him? Who played with McDavid on the right side?
Well, they tried Savoy up there. No, I still say I'd take Raquel. He's just more complete of a player, and I prefer that.
Oh, McDavid and Draisaitl won't be starting the same games line. Yeah, I know.
Brian Rust is basically like pure offense, and that's it. Like, there's nothing. Not that it's bad offense. It's good. I agree, but
just like more of a
I
shooter.
prefer Raquel.
Yeah, like Raquel's better two-way, and I think
It's better.
But I think Rust has.
Yeah, Rust has that. Rust has the big shot, no doubt about that.
Yeah, like Rust, you'll get a little bit more respected because they're not going to leave him wide open if they're chasing McDavid because you get him the puck and he gets 3 shots off, 3 one-timers cross crease. He's going to score probably 2 of them. And if I'm right, I'm pretty sure Raquel is more of a drive the net kind of guy.
He can do a lot of stuff. He's just a really, he can do all kinds of stuff. He's not as pure of a goal scorer as Rust, but I like his overall game.
If the Oilers could get either one, it would be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get.
But I think that's kind of what you're looking for. Just hope the heck there's got to be a team out there that's going to fall off this year, like Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh would be the one. Have a bad year, Pittsburgh, if you're an Oilers fan.
Yeah, that and
DeBrusk isn't too bad. If you're going to get DeBrusk, though, you might as well. I don't know what he's wanting right now, but Tolvanen. I know he's not really the best top 6 guy, but I mean Tolvanen, Dickinson, and Hopkins third line. That line can give you if you're gonna put Draisaitl and McDavid on, put that line together.
Yeah.
And then that line can go play them minutes.
So just kind of go
play them against top lines and give more room for McDavid and Draisaitl to crush this shit out of everybody else.
Yeah, just go like 3 good pairings. So you got 2 guys that play together on each line and a filler to whatever there. So you have
do that, yeah.
Hyman and McDavid, and then Draisaitl and whoever.
It would be like if you did McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman. Then Hopkins, Dickinson, and Tolvanen.
Yeah.
That's your shutdown line. And who is left? Then it would be, no, don't worry about Hopkins. Put Podkolzin, Dickinson, and Tolvanen. That is a shutdown line right there. That line, you're not scoring on that line very much. That's just, you're going to have your hands full with that line. Any line. I don't care what line. They can play against elite comp. And then, Savoy, what would it be after that then? Savoy, Doc, it would be a mix and match line.
Yeah.
That you try to get out against fourth lines and stuff like that. Kapanen, Savoy, and Doc. Eesh.
Or they might, or Matthew Joseph on that line too. He's very good defensively. and he's got speed. I wish he got more of a look in Ottawa because really good on the penalty kill, and so I think that's the whole reason why they brought him in. Speed, penalty kill, a guy that you can trust in the bottom six. Like he's not going to score a ton of goals, but
fourth liner. Yeah, it's all right. I mean, there's worse fourth liners, I suppose, for sure.
I don't know why Oilers didn't re-sign Curtis Lazar. I don't understand.
I think Joseph's better.
That's
why.
Well, Lazar's a center, and then
yeah, but I mean, but they have Szymanski. I think Szymanski just has more upside than Szymanski's going to be the fourth line center, yeah, and he's better already at his age. So
yeah, it could be. The Oilers will be an interesting thing. It'll be first 10 games, and then either we're going to win the cup, or it's going to be oh no, Babcock is terrible, and we're all going down.
Well, I mean, nobody should be doing that with the Oilers because when's the last time they had a good start ever? And now, it is going to be interesting. Is Babcock going to let him go to begin with? Like you get the new coach bump to start off with. Yeah, okay. Babcock's a great system guy, but how good is he at getting a system in place and getting everybody doing it immediately? I know the only coach that I know that does that well is Laviolette. Like,
Torts?
that is, or Cassidy, and then until people start hating him. But before they start hating him, he seemed to do really good in Vegas when he did that.
I think Torts would be classified as that. He's just like, I want you to block shots and get in the lanes. It's not too hard. It's like, I don't care who you are, you're blocking shots.
Well, Torch just knows how to get guys playing for each other real fast. Like what he did last year with when McNabb got that penalty and he rebelled against it and didn't go do the interview and all that kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was getting the guys rallying behind each other and rallying behind and getting trust in them and stuff like that. They lost a second for it, but it was a good move. I mean, it's a good way to get everybody feeling like everybody's out to get you and, bonding together. And that's what he did. He's good with that stuff.
Yeah.
When he was in Vancouver, he realized that there was no fire on that team. So what did he do? He showed them what fire looked like, and then he got fired. But
oh no, the best game Torts in his whole career was when Calgary and Vancouver played. I'm sure you know the one I'm talking about, where Calgary started their third line and Vancouver started their third line, and just big brawl, and Torts is in the hallway trying to get to the Calgary dressing room just to start fighting somebody. I was like, oh, that was the best game I've ever seen by him, 100%.
That's because there was no fire in that room, and he'll do anything to get his team. He was showing them this is the way you got to hate the. Said that a million times. He doesn't like it if you pat the other team's pads. Like if you were a player you used to play with and you go tap his pads and have a friendly conversation before the game, he fucking hates that. He wants you to hate the opposition. And there wasn't much hate in that Vancouver room, quite obviously. And he said, I'll show you how to hate.
Yeah.
That ended up getting him fired. I agree with you. That was a great game. That was Torch personified right there.
If I remember right, they were like, it was intermission and they cut back to the game and they're just like showing clips of Torts in the hallway. And I'm just like, oh my God, does this really happen? Because that was Hockey Night in Canada, I think, game 2. And I remember they just like, there's an altercation going on in the Calgary game. Oh, yeah, it was definitely good.
Yeah, that was fantastic. And that's just true Torts right there. I love him. I mean, I love him in the league. He's my favorite coach, but I don't think he's the best coach. But I mean, he's great in the league. The stuff he says, and how he wears his heart on his sleeve, and all that kind of stuff like that. I just think it's great for the game.
I was a huge Paul McLean fan. Like the way he handled that Montreal playoff series in the presser. Oh my god, that's legend. It's like
Yeah.
it's like what was it? Yeah, it's like 81. You called all the players by their numbers and not their names, and that got Terry pissed. It's just like fucking mad, disrespectful. And then somebody called him a bug-eyed walrus. I can't remember which Montreal player.
Yeah.
Okay, we won the series, so it's good.
Yeah, those character guys, I mean, it's kind of going by the wayside now. You still got, like, Paul Maurice always is good for a laugh after some of the stuff he says afterwards. And Cooper's got his professor type way of going about things. But that's why I wanted Waugh to stay. Hopefully he gets another chance. Trust, yeah.
I think Patrick Waugh might get another chance, but I think it's got to be a team that's gonna be. I don't know. They need to have like kind of like a Boston kind of type of team. He'd need a team that's gonna play to his style, sort of like not his style, like play Boston's way, but he can be more successful. Like the Islanders, I think that was a terrible place to go and coach. By guessing he didn't have enough.
I thought he did. Yeah. I thought he did everything that you had to do with the team he got to do well.
Yeah. It was just a kind of a mess of a team. Like he did what he could with it. Imagine if he had a team that was like when he had Colorado, like he was fired up. Like those ones, first game he's screaming at. Who was he screaming at? It was Anaheim, wasn't it? Who was the coach at the time? Because it was the first game he coached, I think, or was it the second game where he pulled the goalie with like 5 minutes to go, and everybody's like, "What the fuck you doing?"
Yeah, it was a different way of doing it.
It was Anaheim, I believe, and it was the coach. I can't remember who the coach was now, and he was yelling over the glass. He's like, "Welcome to the NHL."
Oh, yeah.
Who was that? Now it's bothering me.
Was it Carlisle? No, Carlisle was before that. Well, I don't think it was Carlisle.
Bruce Boudreau. That's who it was.
Bruce Boudreau. Oh, okay.
October 2nd,
That's funny.
2023. So yeah, it was like the first game of the season.
Boudreau is funny because he's like just the nicest guy ever. Like he gets excited with his players a little bit, but
I love Boudreau, yeah. I love when he gets mad. His face goes complete red, too, when he gets upset. Yeah. It's his legs super red.
I don't think he's going to get another chance.
I think he's retired now.
No, he said he'd coach again if somebody gave him an opportunity.
Oh, would they?
Yeah, he's just not getting – he's getting up there now, too. He's got to be 70s now, right?
Boudreau?
And starting to be a newer league now.
One coach that I really liked that didn't get a good chance, like after the Islanders, was Ted Nelson.
No,
or no,
Nolan?
Todd. No, what am I thinking?
Todd Richards?
No, Ted Nolan. That's what I'm thinking of. I was mixing it up.
Ted Nolan.
Yeah, Ted Nolan.
Well,
he was so good, I thought, with that Islanders team, and then he never got really another chance, and was just kind of shocked. Must be something we don't know.
Well, that was after Buffalo too, right?
Yeah.
Because Barnaby says that Hasek destroyed his career. Hasek hated Nolan, like hated him.
Hasek hated everybody.
Yeah, he was a jerk.
There's no teammate that says Dom was my favorite player. There's not one.
Yeah, did you hear that story with Barnaby?
Yeah.
He got paid $150,000 not to run Hasek.
Yeah, and then he did
Yeah,
something else still.
he slashed his hand,
Yeah.
and they said I think it was 50,000. I don't know. And he slashed his hand. And he said, you said you weren't going to run him." He goes, "I didn't run him. I slashed him.
Yeah.
If you want to give me another 50,000, I won't slash him."
And then it'd be just like,
But
then run another player into him. I didn't run him. I checked the player in front of him.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, he was. Barnaby absolutely hated him. Barnaby's one of my faves of all time too. I love Matthew Barnaby. He was one of my faves of all time. I love those guys that fought with the smile on their face, and nobody did it better than Barnaby. Like he literally was just like, "Let's go, man." And he wasn't a big guy. He wasn't even that big, and he used to do the old Popeye swing before he. Oh, that was the best. Barnaby was awesome.
Barnaby, yeah, it's a shame fighting's kind of leaving the NHL. I understand, but man, some of those are some of the best moments is when a game's just getting out of control is the one thing you could do to try and get the crowd back into it at least. And now that you don't do that, some games just die and you just like, well, we might as well just leave at this point when it's 5-0. But when back in the NHL in those 90s and early 2000s, it was 5-0. You're in your seat because you're like, there's going to be a brawl. You watch.
Well, refs will tell you to this day that they would rather them have the enforcer back in the game again.
Yeah.
Because what the refs would do is if they thought, some guy was running around or doing stuff he's not supposed to be doing, now you can give him a penalty, but it's a lot back then. You'd be like, look, you do it again, I'm going to let him go on you. I'm going to let Proby I'm going to let him go on you. Just telling you right now, you keep it up, and they'd stop. Like Bob Probert back in those days, Wendell Clark, Bob Probert, two toughest guys I ever saw. I think those guys were insane. But Bob Probert back in the day, everybody was afraid of him. Everybody was. So if the ref said, "I'm going to let Proby at you if you keep it up," you stop.
Yep.
That was it. So yeah, Don Cherry was right. No doubt about it. Don Cherry was right. It's not going to be better for the game, and it's not.
No.
It's not better for the
How many dirty hits do you see now these days compared to before? And like sometimes you don't even answer to them. Like look at when Matthews got hit. Like nobody answered for it. It's like,
right.
If that ever happened in the 80s or early 90s, especially, like you're done. You're just like, well, you're fighting and you're going to get the shit kicked out of you by 2-3 guys. They don't give a shit if they're getting kicked out of the game.
You're going to get the penalties, but the refs know, like referees at that time knew when something was extremely dirty, especially if it was on purpose or whatever. And they'll just let the other teams get their revenge, and you don't want that.
Yeah,
you didn't want that. Like right now, that was another thing. I have a discussion about Jack Guy, and I'm on Twitter saying, you can't have him on your team. You can't. He's not an NHL player, and unfortunately, what he can do, and he does really well. Like I don't want to shit on Jack Guy. He's doing the best he can with what he's got, but if he's just born in the wrong era.
Mm-hmm.
That guy should be able to be in the lineup, play his 6 or 7 minutes, and do what he's supposed to do. But you can't do it. It's not much out there you can do with it anymore. You got to be able to play. Guys like Wilson, who I just did an article on about the most underrated players in the league right now. Wilson is one, because he's a guy that can still do that. He can keep up with everybody, and he can still hurt you.
Yep.
And the refs can give him a little bit of leeway if you're doing something stupid. But
another guy like Jack, I would say, is Matt Rempe. Like he's not really, he's borderline like not playing in the NHL at this point because hell of a fighter,
Yeah.
hell of a shit disturber, but if he can't play the game, like, what he average for ice time off?
If you're behind the play every time you're on the ice and stuff, I mean, it's just can't play him that many minutes. But back in the day, Rumpe would have been a beast, man.
Well,
He would have been a very important part of the team.
your fourth line was just literally just goons, and it's like, okay, guys, like, we're gonna play 5 minutes tonight, but the 5 minutes you're out there, just do whatever you have to do. Get kicked out, oh well.
Vegas going to be mid again. I totally disagree with you there. We just did a thing on that. Vegas was only mid last year because they hated their coach. That's the only reason. It doesn't matter if Dorofeev's out. It just, that energy in that room was absolutely brutal last year. Brutal.
Greer is an idiot.
So
GM.
there's still plenty enough talent in there to be able to easily make the playoffs. Be probably win the division next year. I would say between them and San Jose.
Well,
maybe
why do you think Greer is an idiot GM? I'm curious.
Oh, Greer's an idiot GM because he probably thinks Trouba and Nurse is not as bad as people think, and they're going to find out in San Jose. Trouba is not very good, but with the forward core they have there in the regular season, it's not going to matter all that much. They're going to win a lot of games. They're going to score. There's going to be a lot of 4 or 5 goal games. San Jose winning 5-4, 5-3 next year. No doubt about it. They're learning to play defense, but I think they make the playoffs and lose in the first round.
Hey, if they make the playoffs, that's a win.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hockey I've seen, and I don't know what it is, but San Jose in the playoffs when Thornton Marleau and that, I don't know. I loved watching a San Jose game, especially in the playoffs. I just don't know what it's just the atmosphere there was. Not watching live, but just even watching on TV. I don't know. It always brought me in. If Knobloch wasn't an idiot, he would have played on line 2 after the Olympics. But KK only played 5 guys and never let the lineup develop.
Didn't have a lineup to develop. Sorry. You can look at it both ways.
Yeah.
Their bottom 6 was horrid last year until they got Dickinson.
See, I'd agree with you if it was back when they had Connor Brown and guys and Curtis Lazar and guys like that. They had guys that I think could have played more minutes, but they never got a chance to.
Well, Brown, he's playing, 10, 12 minutes in New Jersey now, too. It was better, but last year was really bad.
Yeah, it was. And when McDavid lost his speed, they were done. You knew in the series the minute he's hurt, you're done.
Dickinson gets hurt this year, and they're in big trouble still. They still need to get more guys down there in the bottom 6. Either get a top 6 or get Podkolzin down there.
Any forward that gets hurt pretty much in the top 6, they're screwed. Anybody down the center of the ice, they're done. Yeah. McDavid, Draisaitl, or Hopkins.
Defense, Shea. People are going to Shea is not as good defensively as Nurse. Exclude last year. Nurse was an absolute shit show last year, but before that, Shea's not as good. So have fun. He's a good play driver. He's not bad, but he's not any better than Nurse. If they're going to play him with Dickinson in the lineup, it's going to look a lot better. But if he had to play with their bottom 6 last year, like Nurse did, people would have been screaming at Shea to get out of the lineup.
Use Howard and McDry, get the soft ozone shifts after icing. Well, yeah. Howard's not going to get used in a defensive role, that's for sure.
Yeah, you got it. That's the thing is Howard, it's easier said than done deploying players like that. He's a master at that, though. I was just looking at it. What Brindamore did in Carolina was insane. You know why Stankoven and them looked so good last year? Hall, that line. They played super low comp. And I don't know how he did it because they all played a rotating almost the same amount of minutes. One way he did it is he played him off the bench all the time. That's something you could do with Howard a lot. But the thing is, if you're trying to build chemistry, who's playing with Dre? You're playing Hopkins on the top line, I guess, or you're going to play because Howard's got to play left, right? He's a left winger, right?
Howard, yeah, he's left winger. Howard played like 7 minutes a game. His stats are useless. In a way, yeah. We were just talking about it earlier. You probably missed. I said, yeah, like 7 minutes isn't going to help anybody. Like, if you're a scorer, you need more ice time. But if you,
It's hard to find ice time for a guy like Howard. That's the hard part.
yeah, his best opportunity is probably going to come on the second half of the power play, maybe.
You play him power play time, and then, like you said, soft minutes on the top line. But then, if you're doing that, then somebody else is playing the rest of the time on the top line, and you're shuffling your
Lines around.
lines all the time. So
there's two guys that are going to be missing a shift, and like who's that?
Yeah.
Who's that going to be? It's like dressing a guy you don't.
Probably going to be Hopkins on the top line when in most of the time, and then Howard's got to play, so you're going to have to play him on the fourth line, put him out there on the fourth line in offensive situations just for a couple minutes, just to get his minutes up to at least 10, play him on the power play, and then offensive zone time. And with Dre or McDavid, you got to switch it up like that. And I just don't know if that is something that can be done right now with that lineup.
Does he play? So Draisaitl shoots left, right? Yeah. So he'll shoot left. There's not really a spot on the power play for Howard, like unless he's playing bumper. Draisaitl.
Yeah, it's
you'd have to play like a
second power play, something like that.
With Draisaitl and
you play
McDavid
him more minutes against weak teams.
Oh, as some Edmonton maybe has to do, stop playing McDavid and Draisaitl for 2 minutes on the power play.
Yeah,
get him on there for like the first minute 10, minute 20, and then get him off, and then
it's kind of hard to.
It's hard
to do that.
You need another winger. If you can get another winger, then you can put you could spread it out and put Hopkins. And
if you're actually in a position to develop a player, this isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah,
but that's not where they're at.
They need to win.
Nobody gives a shit what Howard's going to be in 2-3 years. Nobody cares. It's what are you going to be right now? And that's just not great for any player's development to just plug them into certain places just to get max out of them. And I thought Knobloch did a really good job of that, actually, with a lot of the players he had. Plug them in to get max anywhere you could. So I don't know if Babcock's going to be willing to do that. Type of game he plays.
Yeah, Babcock's my way or the highway. Whatever he wants to do, he's going to do. So
AHL plays similar to Babcock's style? I doubt it. He played Knobloch. Knobloch didn't play a layered zone.
50 points in the AHL doesn't really mean anything.
It can't, yeah. I mean, at 20, he's 20, 22 and a half now, 50 points. You can find a lot of guys at that age getting point to games.
Arbor Jacki could probably go to Laval and score a point a game if he really.
VC, Jimmy VC, yeah. He was like that. You could put Roslovich down there and he'd probably get like 30.
Like every player that comes up, what do you like about the NHL compared to the AHL? There's structure here. It's not a fucking free for all.
Yeah.
Goalies are like, oh, I'm so glad to be in the NHL. At least I can see plays develop. Like AHL, you don't know what's happening. Like guys jumping the gun and odd man rushes like crazy, and guys are
Yeah, depending, you can fly the zone, and they're not going to send you to the ECHL.
Yeah.
So if you want to pad your stats down there, you can do it.
Yeah, that's how I started the show off. I said Bakersfield doesn't play the same, I don't think, as Edmonton. And
maybe in Knobloch, maybe they were doing that Knobloch type system where, a 2-1-1 kind of hybrid type thing that they were doing that Nurse really struggled with. But maybe they were learning that, but it was only 3 years, because before that, it takes a while to learn that system.
Yeah, it's
like in Buffalo, they had several different coaches that kind of all did the same thing too. That was another one. Ruff came in and he kind of perfected what they were doing. Granado was before that. Granado had a much more simple type of rough system, and Ruff's was a little more complex. And look at how long it took them to learn this. When you're playing a hybrid system like that, there's a lot of instinct. You got to know each other well. You don't want a lot of player movement. You don't want new players going in and out of the lineup and learning all over again and stuff like that. And that's kind of what's happened with Edmonton.
Yeah, it's like, it's, if you're a hockey fan, sometimes you sit there and you see a guy play really good in the AHL for your farm team. They come up and he does crap ball, but then you watch other teams. It's like this guy comes up for Boston and he scores 5 goals in 6 games. You're like, what's going on? He knows the system. When you come up and you have a new system, you're just like, oh, I don't want to screw things up or I'm going to be sent back down. So I'm going to play safe. I'm going to just chip it in into a soft area for somebody else and try and get open. Like, you're not going to be successful compared to, it's like, okay, I know exactly what I have to do and where to be.
Look at Tampa. You bring up ass toast.
Ass toast. I love ass toast.
Ass toast and Crevier and those kind of guys they brought up. And even is Radish ever as good as he became if he wasn't in Tampa? Possibly not. Like, they play the exact same system in the AHL there. And you get defensemen that never heard of, 27 years old, come up and they just fit in perfectly because they've been learning that system for like 6 years. Same system, any coach that coaches in the AHL for them, same system. Cooper built that, and they will probably play it forever until it maybe doesn't work. Like, things change, things grow, different little ways of doing things. But I think that's what the Edmonton Oilers' biggest problem is they don't have an identity like that. It was an old school fast. Back in the Gretzky days, you just skated really fast, played offensive, and then hopefully you got back in time. That's how it was back in the 80s, until 1-3-1 started, until Traps started coming in with New Jersey in there.
I got the perfect player for example, is Darren Helm in Detroit. His first 2 years, he didn't even play a season game. He played in the playoffs both those first years, but he was so effective because he knew exactly what he was doing when he came up. And they didn't have much choice, and this guy just took the reins, and he was dominant.
Mm-hmm. In Darren Detroit, too, you had to learn from the fourth line up. You had to learn how to play on the fourth line in Detroit. You had to learn how to be able to grind in the corners, or at least work the corners the best you can. And I mean, even Datsuk played fourth line. Larionov played fourth line, like everybody. And I think it was also part of a philosophy they had, where we don't want anybody thinking that a fourth liner is less than the top liner. Like, it was also part of all that, right? Those Detroit teams back then. But yeah, their system was the same. Now I don't know what the heck they are.
No idea. Yeah. They're just lost.
Yeah.
and dealing with so much drama. But I feel for them because I know exactly what that is. I went through the years of that, so I feel for Detroit. But
With Ottawa. Yeah.
yeah, except most of it was from an owner, not
Yeah.
not not a GM, coach, or your captain. It was literally an owner.
I think you're going to see that with what Green is building there in Ottawa. Ottawa is going to
Yeah.
have an identity for years and years and years with Green as their coach. I know I talk about him a lot, but I just love that guy. I still think he's like one of the best. He's going to be considered one of the best of all time. Green.
Best of all time.
One of the
Maybe,
best of all time.
I would say maybe one of the most underrated, but I don't think he'll be up in the like. This guy is just as good as
By the time his
Burns or
career's
stuff like
over,
that.
he'll be up there with Cooper and Maurice and stuff like that. Maybe, hopefully, with the cups, but maybe not. That would be the problem. Is maybe he doesn't have the cups to back it up. But I mean, if Ottawa can build a little more there,
If they could play that system the whole season, that would be great.
if they can just get one big guy there, like one franchise type. Stussel is great, but like one more guy that like maybe through drafting or whatever. But I even think even if they don't, the way I think Ottawa's going to be way better than this year than a lot of people are saying. I know that. People are putting them out of the playoffs this year. Keep on doing that because I'm going to be betting Ottawa to make the playoffs. I want to get like plus 140.
We have an owner that cares now. So, and like, look at Olmark when he left the team, they gave him his time, and then brought in his old goalie coach from Sweden, and then now they've hired him. They're just like, if you need him, we'll hire him. There, you have him now. They didn't fire Justin Peters. They're just like, yeah, you'll work with them. So we had two goalie coaches, a goalie coach, goalie consultant, which a lot of teams don't really have, but that's what Allmark wants and needs. Like, that's going to show a long way, not just for him, but for other players too. It's like, hey, like, this owner cared about me, let me have the time, and he helped me out by getting a guy that I really can lean on and feel more confident about myself too.
Didn't he know Erson too before?
Harrison, yeah, I can't remember the guy's name. It's just so confusing.
No, but I mean, even Allmark and Erson, did they not know each other before this as well?
I don't think they played together. Swoosh, his last name, Marseille Swoosh. I don't know how to pronounce his first name, but Swoosh, that's what it was. Yeah, but he's worked with Harrison, and him and Justin Peters apparently, like, that's what Steo said. They said they both wanted Harrison. They're just like, this guy is a lot better than what people say, and I hope that they're right.
Well, Erson, the second half of last year was very, very good,
and he got Philly to the playoffs.
He was really good. So they brought in a whole bunch of Swedes. This is a smart move. This is smart management too. Swedes love Canada, and they love hanging out, being with each other. They're like a family type group of people, and so you got what happened with Brady happened, whatever, but change the culture right away. Bring in a bunch of Swedes. They love Canada, and you got a family atmosphere there, and you move on. But I think low key, man, Ottawa is a dark horse next year.
Yeah, imagine if they get the Burakovsky at the beginning of the year last year, then we don't need a top six.
Can be good, and at the very least, he's a fantastic fourth liner.
Oh yeah,
at the very least, So it's not
a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people. We need a top six forward, but we do have Burakovsky, we have Zetterlund, both that are like can be that guy, but are you going to be that guy is the question. So I think Eklund and Zetterlund, maybe because they had really good chemistry together and they're best buds. Like, you put Zetterlund on that top line, tell him, hey, like, if you can start scoring some goals on here, we'll leave you here and you can play with your bud.
Well,
And have
Eklund's
Timmy Stu.
is a very good playmaker, and you're gonna love him. They're gonna love him there in Ottawa.
Yeah.
He's got the type of game that fans love. Guy never gives up. Hardworking guy, great attitude. Just I think he's fan. I thought it was a great pickup.
And nobody even seen it coming. Not one person. It's like Eklund was available.
I heard rumblings that maybe they were looking to use him to get a defenseman. I did hear rumblings of that, but
Well,
I
you were talking
didn't
more
hear
Misa.
anything about him going to Ottawa like they did. And they did
Well,
get a defenseman for him, but it's he's maybe 2 years away. But
we were talking a little bit about that before the draft, and you thought it was actually Misa that was probably the one that was going to get traded.
Is the one that I would have traded.
Yeah. But kudos to Staios on that one, because I don't think anybody knew he was available, or it was very few teams actually asked, because that was a shock. Because if he was widely being shocked,
because they were going to take Stenberg, that he was available, that they were looking, they were trying to put a package together with the Rangers, but they didn't want Schneider, so they were probably going big with a whole bunch of picks for Fox or something like that. But that was something that I heard rumblings of.
Well, like, I still think Chase Reed's a really good defenseman, but they got Bierhoff. So not trading that pick, they still got a really good defenseman too. So
right. In a couple of years. I don't know how long it'll take for Bierhoff or whatever, but
yeah, it's a defenseman. You can't rush him. Like, I think he's
not too many defensemen are Schaefer.
2 or 3 more years probably in college for Bierhoff, and then he'll come up. He's not going to be here this year. He's not going to be next year.
No.
Yeah.
Not likely.
Let's get to like 21, 22 before he gets a shot.
Probably. But I think that's our full 42, bud. Thanks for coming in. Found a bunch of stuff to talk about. And we will be doing, I'm going to be on Terry Edelman's channel doing some betting stuff for futures for a couple teams. I think it's season preview for teams and stuff like that. I'll be on that. Puck in Deep. We are now. Well, I'm not going to say. We got a big announcement coming up for Puck in Deep as well. Going to be part of a website, yeah. So check me out there. Oh, also for my season coming up for $150, you can get a full season of my picks, 400 to 600 units a year don't forget, that's who I always forget. Swag's doing ball picks and he's kicking ass. Go to Pearlos NHL POW for my winnable. Pearlos NHL POW on winnable. He's having a great year this year. For $25 a month, you can grab that. All right, Larry, what do you got going on, buddy?
Getting ready for the trip. We're going to be at the home opener for Ottawa and Philly, and yeah, excited for that. It's going to be fun. Maybe jump into the preseason game. I'll be in Toronto, and some of the preseason games are on. Maybe get free ticket or cheap ticket to that, but otherwise working to pay off the trip from now till then, and then enjoy that.
Awesome, buddy. All right. I was just going to tell you, I actually know the website, but all right. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Like usual, I am completely doing things on the seat of my pants. Okay, bye.